One of the world's biggest AI labs has paused its most ambitious training run, not because it failed, but because the safety rules are being rewritten. Welcome to the Automated Daily, Tech News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. It's August 19th, 2026. I'm Trent Teller, and here are the tech stories worth your time today. This episode is brought to you by Prezi. Prezi helps you create stunning AI-powered presentations in minutes. Find the link in the episode notes. Let's start with OpenAI, where safety, product design, and financial pressure all showed up at once. The company has paused its biggest planned frontier training run while it revises its preparedness framework. Even as smaller projects resume. That matters because it suggests the race for more capable models is now being shaped as much by risk controls as by raw ambition. OpenAI also launched a teen-focused ChatGPT experience for users aged 13 to 17, with age-appropriate responses and tighter safeguards, a clear response to growing scrutiny over how AI tools handle younger users. And in a separate update, OpenAI told investors quarterly revenue climbed, but apparently not enough to satisfy some expectations, with losses still widening. Elsewhere in the AI market, the infrastructure competition keeps accelerating. AWS has added OpenAI's GPT 5.6 to Bedrock, giving enterprise customers another major model through Amazon's managed AI platform. At the same time, Cerebras unveiled a new accelerator and a faster GPT 5.6 mode developed with OpenAI, aiming to cut the waiting time for large model workloads. The bigger picture is simple. Cloud providers and chip companies are competing less on basic access now and more on speed, model choice, and how quickly businesses can put advanced AI into everyday work. On the regulatory front, California's Delete Act has moved into active enforcement. Registered data brokers now have to honor deletion and opt-out requests through one central system instead of making people chase down company after company. That's a meaningful shift for U.S. privacy law because it turns consumer control into something more practical. In Europe, the App Store story we followed earlier also moved forward. Apple says it will drop the per-install fee in the EU, lower some commissions, and further open the door to outside payment options. That's a notable concession to regulators, and developers will be watching closely to see whether it really changes the economics of selling apps in Europe. China had a busy day in AI policy and commercialization. Beijing said another 20 generative AI services have completed registration, bringing the city's total close to 280 under the country's approval framework. Jiangsu province separately rolled out a multi-year plan to push AI deeper into industrial software and manufacturing. And Baidu reported that AI made up half of its core business revenue for a second straight quarter. Put together, those updates show a market growing quickly, but within a structure that is tightly guided by policy, registration, and industrial strategy. In cybersecurity, France says it will deploy AI tools to help identify weaknesses across public agencies after a run of serious breaches and data leaks hit its finance administration. Governments have been talking about AI for defense for a while, but this is the kind of pressure-tested use case that could spread, finding vulnerabilities before attackers do. If it works well, other public sector departments across Europe may copy the approach. In research, two stories stood out. GenBio, the startup co-founded by Nobel laureate David Baker, introduced what it calls a virtual cell model designed to simulate how human cells respond to drugs across multiple biological layers. It's early, but the promise is obvious. Faster drug exploration before experiments move into the lab. And researchers also reported light-powered microscopic robots that can move through liquid, collect bacteria, and place them in chosen spots. That sounds futuristic, but the real significance is practical. Tools like these could eventually help with targeted therapies, diagnostics, and environmental monitoring. And finally, spaceflight had a strong day for reusability. China's Landspace says it successfully recovered the first stage booster of its Zhuk-3 rocket, a major step for China's private launch sector as it works toward routine, lower-cost reuse. Meanwhile, SpaceX recovered its latest Starship test vehicle after it spent more than 3 weeks at sea. The ship probably won't fly it again, but engineers now get something unusually valuable, real hardware to inspect after re-entry. For both companies, the theme is the same. Reusability is no longer just about launch spectacle. It's about learning how to make access to space cheaper and more repeatable. Thanks to our sponsor, 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you discover the future of AI audio with cutting-edge voice technology. Find the link in the episode notes. That's the day in tech for August 19th, 2026. If one theme ties today's stories together, it's that AI and advanced engineering are moving from experimentation into systems, rules, and real-world consequences. Thanks for listening to the Automated Daily, Tech News Edition. I'm Trent Teller, and I'll be back tomorrow.